What you're about to see is going to end up being the ugliest retaining wall that we've ever built in the history of our company, period, hands down. And I can't make this story up. We got a phone call from a prior customer of ours from 2 decades past that had hired another contractor to come in and start a deck and retaining wall and seat wall project for him. Unfortunately, this other contractor completely abandoned the project after he had already started. All of the materials were there, and he actually started to build the different projects out on this customer site and then just left them high and dry. The customer, in sheer frustration, attempted to begin building and finishing his own project and got overwhelmed with it, and then called us up to come in. So we're gonna step into this project and we're going to finish off this thing, and I don't know what to say. This one, let's just dive into this job.
All right, so this job is gonna be a little wild. So apparently what we're doing is assisting the homeowner in all this. So he's helping with everything. He's got some of his own equipment. He's got all the materials for us already. We're essentially just another set of hands. I've never been on a job like this before, so it'll be an interesting one.
Guys, I'd like to introduce you to Al.
I love the smell of grease in the morning.
He's going to be helping us with this project.
There you go, that should be good.
Al had already used his excavator to dig out the base, but it's a bit too high and needs to go down.
Yeah, right there is good. You packed the out of this, man.
You have no idea.
So if you didn't hear him, all this class 5 that he had installed before we got here, along here, it's a foot deep. He packed every 1.5 inches. So this stuff is like concrete.
Although Class 5 can be used for base material, there's no forgiveness in it, which means it's a lot harder to base off from, which Sam is going to find out in just a few minutes. And while Sam is prepping the base for the second tier of the retaining wall, Blaine is starting to lay out the area for the proposed fire pit.
We're getting a lot of leeway with a lot of stuff on this job. It's nice. This is gonna be a fun one. I like this guy so far. I haven't ever worked a job like this where the dude's like actually helping and like actually helping. You know what I mean? Not just helping.
The original contractor built the lower terrace. Then the customer started to build this second terrace that the guys are working on right now, but didn't have the elevation right, so that has to come down before the next terrace or the next wall can be built on top of it.
5 blocks high.
This is not our normal base material. This is Class 5, and you're going to see how that impacts things in just a minute.
We're just squaring that up with the wall then, and that's gonna set the...
Decent. We'll see how I'll square this one next to the wall. Yeah. I don't want to start getting too close or too far away.
Just a little high. Happy with that?
Pretty happy with that. Okay.
Kind of a little trickier working on somebody else's base.
Well, usually based on clear. So it's got some movement.
Yeah.
This is like based on concrete.
Still tipping. Yeah. I would say that's pretty good.
Class 5 is not just harder to base off from because there's no forgiveness in the material itself, but if for some reason you do have a soft spot in the base, it tends to allow the blocks to deflect more or shift and settle down the road.
Oh, I think we finally got it, boys.
Blaine.
I don't know if we'll be able to find these anywhere.
Yeah, these are goofy. So we're stepping down, going a couple more blocks this way. Then we're taking this top course off of here just to make it look more gooder.
And we'll build up down there.
And build up down there and kind of try to fix this radius a bit. And yeah, we'll be in business.
Let's dive in here and talk about the materials on this job site. This lower retaining wall is made out of diamond blocks. It's your typical big box store retaining wall block that you'll see for sale. And a lot of contractors gravitate toward this block for two reasons. One, cheapest block you can possibly purchase. Number two, it's light. It's actually hollow from the bottom side, meaning you can't core fill it. It weighs next to nothing. And so when a contractor's working with this block, it's easy for him to pick up a block, put it in place, versus using heavier materials that require more labor. I don't recommend using this block for anything other than outlining a garden bed. Now, the second block on this job site, on the upper wall that the contractor or the customer actually brought in, is Keystone compact units. It's also a hollow block, but fortunately, at least you can fill it from the top, and it does have pins. It's not my chosen block, but it's what's on this site, and it's what we've got to use. So let's get back to the project.
We're stepping out, so you just fill that up with level it with class 5 and base one on top of it.
Half on this and then half on the block. So, and he's gonna do that right after we get done with the walls. One more project.
One more project, yeah. We've got a lot going on back here, that's for sure.
These are the Keystone compact units, which are actually a better block. But the problem with these particular units is they're no longer manufactured. So finding this block to match up to is going to be a challenge that we're going to run into a little bit later on in this video. Now these blocks, unlike the ones we typically use, need to be core filled and backfilled as well. What you're seeing these guys doing at this step is the backfilling. They will core fill later on. Sam calls this wall his baby, and with a brand new block, it can be a little bit more difficult to figure out, and he wants to get it right.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So this is straight across, right? That's good.
Yep.
But the level is saying it needs to come a little bit that way. But if we bring that up, then it's going to be high on the corner.
Now, one of the things I think is interesting is nothing is going on top of this block. That's the end of the retaining wall. So the eye will never pick up what the level is telling Sam, but he's still putting the attention to detail into it.
This level there, on that corner down a little.
This makes it the perfect place to practice.
Stick with that. Because that's good there. And this is probably, we'll probably just have one more sitting here.
Okay.
And that'll be it.
This area of the retaining wall is going to be entirely covered up by a deck, which is a good thing because you're going to see why in just a minute. Now, structurally, nothing has been compromised as we build this upper tier of this retaining wall. Aesthetically, even though nothing matches up because we've got anchor diamond units in tan on the bottom, we've got Keystone retaining wall units in gray on the top, and we're going to be adding a third completely different look coming up in just a minute. Structurally, everything should still hold together. So although the customer is saving money on materials, that savings comes at its own price.
We are making the wall and a little fire pit for this guy out of block that he had on site. He wants to reuse these blocks that he had. And we cannot find any more. We need some more for over at the fire pit to get it how he wants to get it. Cannot find these things. Same thing with the caps. We need caps to finish off our wall up here. Cannot find a place that has them. We are having a of a time finding caps. So we are gonna hunt, hopefully track some down this weekend, because it is kind of goofy blocks.
When Sam says we, he means Al, the customer.
All right, these are the blocks dude went and got, and they are not the same. I don't like these blocks. Not a fit. Not a.
Than what was on the website, and then maybe you just picked up the wrong ones.
Yeah, maybe.
Looks like they had the angled ones.
Yeah. So these are flat faced, and the other ones are not. You messed up bad.
I said face. But what we'll do
You gotta drive back.
is we're gonna take these 4.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna take these 4 off, and we're gonna put all the 7 up here.
Okay.
Because you're not really gonna see them.
I don't care.
Right.
Don't care.
And then all these will go down there.
God, you're so easy to work for.
You'll see those a lot.
Lo-
Than up here.
I don't care. It's all about.
It's all done.
It's all about.
Function.
So to solve the problem, what Blaine proposes to do is to use the new blocks, which don't match anything, and put it onto our retaining wall where they'll be covered underneath the deck, and then to take the blocks that we've installed on that retaining wall and use them to build the fire pit where they can be seen.
Blocks you got are different. You can see they're flat faced. These are all tri-faced. So hopefully these pins line up. Our cap situation got kind of goofy. So the caps that they showed online for having were single face, 18 inches. We get them here and they are A's and B's. We measured out for them to just be the 18-inch one. So yeah, kind of at a conundrum here. It'll be all right not working with this stuff again. It definitely looks a little goofy, but if it's the homeowner doesn't care, and if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for us.
Functionality.
All right, so we figured out our cap debacle. We're just gonna get this all nice and looking good, and then whatever we got left is left over. And the homeowner is gonna just core fill that wall up there. So this is gonna be a lot of cuts though. There are gonna be lots of cuts.
Sam has replaced our steel chop saw with the Husqvarna K770, and I think he likes it.
Ooh, I like that. Time to glue. I always forget. Always forget.
Now, unlike the other retaining wall that we just wrapped up, this one you can actually see. So to help tie everything together, we use the same eggshell shape on this lower seat wall that we found on the upper retaining wall when we first came into the site. But let's jump back and take a look at how that other retaining wall turned out.
Our wall over here, we already know it's ugly as hell. Not how we would normally do it, but like I said, the homeowner's over function over form, and he did not care. So here's what we got up here.
Now, according to the homeowner, they no longer are making these tri-split face blocks, and he didn't care what this wall looked like, so he bought straight face to put on top of it.
He's got kind of 3 different looks going on over here. We got this wall here, which is these blocks like that, and we got these tri-face keystones, and then the flat face keystones.
So we actually have a rule that we won't reuse retaining wall blocks. The reason is by the time you pull the wall apart, clean the block up, reinstall it, and then if you have to have new blocks added onto it, they will never match. Even if they still manufacture the blocks, the colors will never match up because the aggregate mined from the pit to manufacture the blocks last year will typically vary enough from the aggregate that they mined from the pit this year or whenever the blocks were originally installed. And then on top of that, you also have the effects of weathering, discoloring the blocks, and you can never get everything to match up and look good. And what we found as a company, it's not worth it. It's just better off to do it. But we broke our own rule on this one occasion and kind of regretted it, because now you guys see why. But the reason we broke our own rule is because this was one of our customers from years past. And you do what you got to do to make sure that the people you've worked for before are happy. And that's all we've got for right now. I hope whatever you guys are working on turns out looking better than this wall, because this one was literally the ugliest wall we've ever built in our life. But structurally, it's sound. God bless, go get them, and we will see you guys hopefully on a better looking retaining wall than this one. Catch you guys later. Actually, I don't know. Well, yeah, it's ugly. Yeah. Sorry, Al. I know you watch my videos, but bye.
Like I said, not normally how we would do it. Homeowner doesn't care. He's happy. We're happy. So that's that. We're on to the next one.